Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
What's up, y'all? This is Brittany from SheAbundantly at SheAbundantly.com. The last video I posted was about me having dreams about this one particular man and how God was showing me these dreams and how I didn't know what they meant necessarily. After a while, I knew because of this man trying to approach me, and it was such a victorious moment. Yes, I passed the test. Yes. And then the struggle happened. Talk about the struggle. Singles, it can be a struggle sometimes. So you ever been in a situation to where you knew it was wrong? You knew God said absolutely not. You had a right mind, but for some reason what you knew and what you felt didn't match up at all. That's exactly what happened after that victorious moment. When I tell you that my flesh, my desires, my mind, everything outwardly wanted what I could not have. If you did not check out the first video, it's called I Kept Having Dreams About This Man. Please go check it out, because then you'll really understand what I'm talking about here. There was a trap that was set before me. I was talking about how the enemy sets traps and how God warns his people. He speaks to his people, or he gives the answers to these temptations or tests. And then right afterwards, it became such a struggle. I knew what God was telling me. I knew that this person was not good for me, but yet I desired it. And now I really understand why God was preparing me for so long. I thought it was just for that moment of 2 minutes of interaction of me resisting him coming on to me. But now I really understand, because the spirit of seduction is so strong. And if you don't know what seduction actually means, it simply means to draw or entice someone away from the truth. The definition I have is to attract someone to a belief or into a course of action that is inadvisable or foolhardy. To attract powerfully. And that's what the seducing spirit does all day long. The spirit is drawing people away from the truth, drawing people away from the knowledge of God. And it does it very subtle, like little by little. Have you ever been in a situation to where you knew right from wrong? You knew, okay, if I was to steal this, you know, I know the consequences. I know I'm gonna get in trouble. I could possibly go to jail, but it looked so good at the time, or I didn't have the money, so I really wanted it. That's an example of like a seducing spirit drawing you from the truth, making it look so good you can't resist it. You feel like you gotta have it. Maybe it's a job. You got this good paying job, right? Is working you a whole bunch of hours, keeping you away from God. You don't even pray as much. You don't read as much. You don't desire him as much. You don't go to church. You don't do nothing that you know is right or what you should be doing. But the job is so good. It pays so much money. I got my bills paid and all that stuff. Seducing, drawing you further and further away from what's right. I really share my personal stories as a single young woman, because I know there's so many other singles going through the same things that I'm going through, and probably feel like they're the only person going through it, or you know, ain't nobody else trying to fight this thing. Ain't nobody really being successful out here, so I might as well, I'm just gonna, you know, go ahead and take this L. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody else taking L's. Ain't nobody really out here trying to live this life right. But I just really wanted to encourage you and tell you my story. You are not alone, girl. You are not alone. Back to the story. After this man tried to talk to me, and my victorious moment of shutting the whole situation down, like literally, probably after I made that video, I can tell I started to want what I couldn't have, or what I thought I couldn't have. I started to have thoughts about this person. I started to really think about, okay, wait a minute. Am I missing out on something here? And for me, one of my struggles as a single has been looks. One of the reasons why I was stuck in a relationship for a long time and I knew it wasn't good for me is because the lust of the eyes. Like, are you one of those type of girls to where if you see a fine man or you see something so good, you got to have it, or you want to see what it's like, what's really going down? He's so fine, you just can't walk away. Like, that has been a struggle. This has been the greatest challenge in my single life. I am not playing. I have never had to resist something so hard or so bad in my life. I had to call many people that I trusted, people that I knew would pray for me and encourage me. I had to let them know my situation, what was going down, and my struggle to resist what I knew was not right for me. The thing is, Our hearts are naturally evil. Scripture tells us that our hearts are deceitful. They lead us astray every time. They desire the things that are not pleasing to God. It's the nature of this flesh. We are born into a world of sin. And without the Holy Spirit, which is the Spirit of God who knows all truth, so we don't have him guiding us, we are destined for destruction. There's no getting around it. Plain and simple truth. So we naturally desire evil, and when I tell you my flesh was desiring that person, my flesh really wanted to see if I was missing out on something. Have you ever felt that way? Felt like if you resisted it, or you resisted a man or relationship, then you was missing out on something? Let me tell you how big of a trap, how big of a misconception or lie that is. We'll get back to that, but the spirit of seduction was so strong, it was so powerful, and I could just feel it pulling me. Like I was struggling with thoughts. I was struggling with feeling of, well, should I? Because I know I can't. The door has already been open. I know there's a possibility. But my flesh was starting to buck up, wanted to be comforted. It's the winter season. It's so many reasons why the flesh or our bodies desire so many things, especially in relationship with a man. You know, maybe you may feel lonely, or maybe you feel like everybody else is in a relationship and you're not. Or it's the winter season. It's cold. You want to be booed up. You want to have somebody to talk to. You just want some conversation, right? You just want somebody to look at, right? But when God says no, when he says do not taste, do not touch, like, I realize he really means that. I was struggling in my heart and in my thoughts, having to fight thoughts that was not pleasing to God, that was just not good, and I know it. And I know in my heart I opened the door for that spirit of seduction to come in even more, which made the pull to this person so much stronger. Singles, I feel you. And I know God allows us to go through things, and don't be discouraged when you go through things, or when you're in a battle or in a fight, because a lot of times he allows us to go through these things so we can have something to encourage other people with, or so we can relate to other people more. You know, before it wasn't always a fight, because at some point I would give in. I would actually give in to my temptations. I would be able to hold off for a long time because I knew it wasn't pleasing to God. I knew it wasn't right. But then at one point or another, I'll fall. Now that I'm at this place, now that I'm realizing more and more the importance of really following Christ, I knew I couldn't. I knew I could not give in, even though I wanted to. Getting tired of resisting my flesh and almost really sabotaging myself. But God is faithful. That's all I can say, is God is faithful, and he knows right from wrong, and it's like he won't let you veer off to the left or to the right too far before he says, all right, child, I'm stepping in now, because you don't know what you really about to do. You don't know what you're really about to say. Let me go ahead and take you by the hand. Let me go ahead and shut that door while you trying to open it. Let me shut it, because it ain't good for you, child. Whatever you may be going through, whatever you may be facing right now, you really may be in a situation to where you are deciding right now if you should be in this relationship with a person, or if you should take that job, or if you should do something that you know if you do, it'll take you away from God. Let me tell you, fight. I mean, tell everybody that you know, those who will hold you accountable, those who are wise, tell them to pray for you. Tell them your struggles. Tell them what you're thinking, how you're feeling, because you're going to need help. You cannot do this on your own. One thing that I have to realize, and that we have to realize, if we want to be successful, walk out this walk with Jesus, we have to realize that we are weak. Okay? We fall for any and everything that we so desire. And this is why we need a savior. This is why we need a shepherd to guide his sheep, us, because we're not the smartest sometimes. We don't make the best decisions. So we have to realize that we are weak and that God is strong. That means you're going to have to humble yourself. You're going to have to cast yourself down. You can't do this on your own. I had to realize that I can't do this on my own, because if I did, probably would not have a testimony. I probably would not be able to encourage people even in this video. So I encourage you, run for help. Do not think twice about hiding it. And trust me, let me say this. I think we're all masters at hiding things, at hiding sin. I still have to tell myself to stop. Open that door for somebody so you can be held accountable, because I mean, who wants to expose their most deepest, darkest desires and secrets and emotions when you know it ain't right? You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to be vulnerable like that. Nobody wants to expose themselves like that. But then again, it's all about realizing your purpose. It's all about realizing where you're going. Because when you know that you are going high places or further places than where you are now, it's like you start making decisions and you start acting like you're going that way. So it's like, okay, I have no more time, and I don't have opportunities to waste right now, because it's not even about me. You got to realize that this life is not about you, and that wherever God is taking you is to help his people as well. Just as much as it's to help you, it's to help build his kingdom, because your purpose is assigned to souls, not just you, but souls. So you got to let people know. Like I said, I let many people know how strong that pull was. I found myself frustrated, angry, even to tears, because I wanted something so bad that was off limits. And I think it's even more challenging when you know it's off limits. And I really had to sit with myself. I had my brother talking to me and asking me, like, what is it? Like, why do you feel such a strong pull? And, you know, that's a good thing to do. Sit down with yourself and get deep into your heart and realize why. You got to talk this stuff out and get some understanding, because I think it'll help you cope better, or help you resist and realize some things. So some of the things I realized of why I wanted this so bad was because, well, first, one of the reasons why is because I knew that God said no. That encounter with God and how he was exposing that to me, for me, that was the first time that God has ever shown me, like, no, this is not good. I'm showing you who this person is. It's not good. Don't do it. Don't touch. Don't do it. And when you know something is off limits, I think that's even a harder resistance, because it's like, what is so bad about this? Why can't I touch it? Like, what is it? I want to touch it even more now because you said I can't touch it. So that was a challenge for me. I also realized that with the person that tried to approach me, it was unknown territory to me. So I was even more curious to see, well, what's going on with this person? What is it like? Can I have a conversation with you? Type thing. Young ladies, women, singles, when I tell you, I understand that whole feeling of wanting to engage in something that you never had before. I see how older men pull young women. It's because for a young woman, a lot of times, especially for myself, I would like to say that any relationship that I've ever been in has been with a young man, meaning young in maturity, young in mentality. So it's like when an older man try to approach you, you be feeling like, oh my goodness, like, that's an older man. He got this, he got that, he's established. Oh snap. And he want to talk to me? Let me see what this be about right here. Let me tell you how strong of a pull that is. Them OGs, yeah, that seducing spirit on them is something else. But we have to understand, if God is saying no, and you know it's just nothing but lust and just a strong pull for fleshly desires, that ain't from God. Never from God. Because he's not gonna draw us into something that's just satisfying our flesh. Anybody that we are to marry one day is for divine purpose. We together are going to help build the kingdom. We're going to have a purpose together. Another reason that I realized of why I was so drawn to this person, even after God said no, was because of the feeling of missing out. And I said before, what a big lie that is. The devil will have us thinking that we are missing out on so much, and if we don't get into this relationship because he a superstar, he famous, oh, he got a lot of money, I'm gonna be missing out on all these clothes, I'm gonna be missing out on this status, and he fine too. Oh, I just have to be with him. But really the only thing that you're going to be missing out on is a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a possible child, being a single parent, another broken home. You're going to be missing out on maybe a whole bunch of drama from other women who want to be with the same person because of the same things that you desire from him. So we got to realize that the stuff that we are missing out on is a blessing, okay? You're missing out on another soul tie that you have to wrestle with. Soul ties are no joke, and it comes from having sex, negative soul ties, and it comes from illegal sex outside of marriage. Oh my goodness, if I could go back and never have sex, never have any sexual activity in my life, I would. Because that's something that just doesn't go away with prayer. You live with consequences. You live with scars. You're missing out on stuff, but it's stuff that you don't want any part of. So I had to realize I'm not missing out on nothing. And even with me desiring this man almost to the point to the outside, it may have seemed like I was successful, but in God's eyes, I know I crossed the boundary. I know I was trying to taste. I was trying to, just trying to tiptoe my way just to see just a little bit. And God even showed me, this man is a fool. Even in me wanting what I could not have, he still allowed grace and mercy to show me this man is a fool. He ain't nothing that you won't do. Don't desire this no more. I ain't missing out on nothing. And I know that whoever God has for me, OMG, oh, he's going to be so spiritually driven, so divine, led by God. This is the key thing right here. To cure that whole feeling of you missing out on something. You have to know, like I said before, you got to know where you're going. And one of the things, or one of the sayings that I tell myself and I encourage other people with is this: what I am reaching for is greater than what I am leaving behind. And you have to tell yourself that, okay, baby girl. I had to tell myself, and still tell myself every day, so I won't fall for these traps, so I won't be looking dumb out here, that what God has for me is greater than what I'm leaving behind. So God, because I resisted this temptation, my reward is great. You have to combat. You have to fight the lies of the enemy, because he will sure have you thinking that what's in front of you right now is the best that you will ever have. Oh, this man is fine, this man is this. Girl, that's gonna be the best you will ever have. And don't let your friends start talking to you, telling you, girl, you stupid. I would've got with him, girl. You dumb. Another girl gonna get him. I've had people tell me that you better hold on to him because he gonna be famous, or he gonna be this, or some other girl gonna get him. And let me tell you, if you are one of those people to tell girls that, please don't do that. Because when people say that, especially when they value your opinion, they start to think like, wow, you right. I am gonna miss out. So let me hold on to him. Even though I'm sinning in this relationship, even though it's not pleasing to God, let me hold on to him because it's gonna get better. Or one day he gonna be famous and it's all gonna be glorious. Or whatever that you thinking you gonna have. Let me tell you, that is a trap. That is a trap to keep you bound in something that God said no, that is not pleasing to him. You gotta have your own mind, and you gotta be able to hear God for yourself. You can't always listen to people, what shall I say, people with no wisdom. Listen to sound judgment, those who will tell you the truth no matter how you feel, because it's going to save you a heartache, a lifetime of heartache and pain. But yet again, that was one of the struggles that I had, of feeling like I was missing out. And the enemy really tried to play me, because that was an old trick that he tried to pull on me. And I'm like, I'm already knowing. But yet again, but still, even though it was an old trick and I'm already knowing the deal, I was still fighting that, because it was real for me, my flesh, and what I wanted. It was real. It was something that I've never seen, never known before. So it's like, this may be my only chance, my only opportunity for what I thought I would be missing out on. But it was a lie. It's a lie from the pits of hell. It's a lie. I just really, really have to encourage us young women to stay strong. And we always got to back stuff up with scripture. Hearing people's testimonies and words of encouragement is great, but what does God say? Proverbs chapter 7. Let me tell you, Proverbs is so much wisdom. You want some wisdom? Read the book of Proverbs. Read the book of Proverbs. There's 31 chapters. You can read one for every day of the month. This is a king talking to his son, trying to give him some wisdom that would save his life. But this applies to everybody, man or woman. But Proverbs 7 was saying, my son, keep my words and store up my commands within you. Keep my commands and you will live. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and to insight, you are my relative. They will keep you from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman or man with her seductive words. Boy, them men's words are seductive. They will draw you. They will entice you, draw you right to the pits. I'm telling you. Verse 21 says, with persuasive words, she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. All at once he followed her, like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a noose, till an arrow pierces his liver, like a bird darting into a snare, little knowing it will cost him his life. Now then, my son, listen to me. Pay attention to what I say. Do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her paths. Many are the victims that she has brought down. Her slain are a mighty throng. Her house is a highway to the grave, leading down to the chambers of death. So it was a man talking to his son, but ladies, God is talking to his daughters as well. Do not be led astray by his seductive words, by that good smelling cologne, whatever he wearing, by that good hairline, the hair is so crisp, that beard is so nice. Let me tell you, it'll have you straight sprung. It'll have you out here opened. Okay? It'll have you out here looking thirsty. How do I know? Because I've done it before. Looking straight thirsty. But God is saying, don't be led astray. Don't walk down the path of this seducing spirit that's operating in this person, because what it's doing is it's setting you up for a trap. It's leading you to the slaughterhouse. Every step that you take, while you think it's a little text message or a little conversation here, is leading you to the slaughterhouse. It's leading you to death spiritually, emotionally, and many times death physically. When God tells us not to touch or don't go there, he says it for great reason, because he knows what's best, and he knows the fate, the end of all things. He knows that if we touch, we will get burned. And you may be thinking, oh, it's just a little conversation, like I thought. Oh, it's just a little this, a little that. It may be small talk. It may be what you think is innocent. But even the words coming from that seducing spirit through that person can really have an effect on your heart, on your mind. And it can start to open you up. And it will have you desiring more, is what I'm saying. Don't even flirt with the conversations. How do I know? Because I did it. Because I lived it. And one of the worst feelings as a young woman, oh, let me tell you, one of the worst feelings is to feel open to a person. Knowing that this person, y'all, it ain't nothing good, but you feeling open, meaning like you want him to look at you. You want him to text you, call you. You just want some attention from this person. So you willing to look stupid, or you out here looking thirsty, or looking and being open in your heart, open in your mind. And when you're so open like that, it'll have you doing things that you would not supposed to do, or you thought that you would never do. And it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling to have somebody on your mind and you can't get them off. I ain't talking about good things or love or things that are of God or marriage. I'm talking about that seducing type person, or that, you just out here, you just another one of these girls that's just as open for this person as all the other girls are or will be. That's a horrible feeling. 1 Peter 4 talks about suffering. When God says, pick up your cross and follow me, when he said that, he wasn't talking about, hey, let's go for a stroll on the beach. It's going to be easy breezy. He didn't say that. That's not what that meant. When God picked up his cross and denied him his flesh and died upon that cross, he denied himself. He denied everything of himself for the benefit of us, so that we may be able to live for him on earth and for eternity. He was God. He could have easily said, forget this. I'm going back up to heaven because I ain't got time for this. But he denied his deity. He denied his powers for the sake of us. So when God is saying, pick up your cross and follow me, he's saying, deny your flesh. Deny those things that are not pleasing to me. And if you do that, your reward will be great. You will have the eternal inheritance of the kingdom of heaven. You will be able to sit with God, with Jesus in heaven for eternity. If all else fails, if you forget any of the things that I've said, remember that there's a reward in heaven. Heaven is the goal. Heaven is reward. But he's also handing out rewards specifically for the things that we have done. And if you can be handed out a reward, that means you can also forfeit an award. And why give up, why forfeit a blessing that has your name on it for something temporary down here? If you can get that in life, whatever age that you're at right now, baby girl, you set up for victory. Fight, because there is a reward waiting for you. So when he says, deny that flesh, pick up that cross, that means you may have to deny your flesh unto tears. You may have to deny your flesh unto frustration and anger. You may have to deny your flesh unto loss. And sometimes even unto death. All those people that we read about in the Bible, those Pauls and Peters, those great people that spoke the gospel and taught, and the people that we read, many of them were killed because of their walk with Jesus. And they denied sin. They denied this flesh unto death. But let me tell you, I know their reward is so great in heaven, because they're done with suffering and now they will be rewarded for it. And what God is saying is, if you suffer for me, that means if you kill this flesh, deny your flesh for the sake of me, for the sake of pleasing me, your reward will be great. That's something that I have been holding on to, and I'm going to hold on to that for the rest of my life, because I know there's going to be more challenges to come as a single young woman, and even as a married woman, as a businesswoman, as a student, whatever you may be. You're going to have challenges, and you're going to be tempted. It's going to be like a little devil on this side, the angel on this side. You're going to be tempted. But remember, I'm encouraging myself right now. Remember what God is saying. And in this case, suffering is a good thing. But then it also shows you where you are in your relationship with God. If you're not willing to suffer, if you're not willing to deny this flesh to please him, then go to him and tell him that, help me, God, because I didn't know living for you would mean I got to really deny myself, kill my flesh. I really got to do that. It's all for the glory of God. It's all for pleasing him. So please be encouraged, young woman. The struggle is real, but the reward is greater. The reward is greater. Oh, I know my reward is great. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep standing. If I got to cry, if I got to yell it out, scream it out, which I did. Because temptation sometimes will take you there. When you are denying your flesh bucks up. Your flesh hates it. So it's like a lot of times you got to fight this flesh. And it may take you screaming, help me, Jesus. Because the pull is so strong. Help me, Jesus. But please be encouraged. He is here. He always provides a way out. And he knows the struggle. And you are not. So many Christians, so many believers, you better believe we're all going through the same thing. But he is so faithful. I am resisting this now, Lord, because I know that my reward later is so much greater. What I'm reaching for, what I am reaching for is so much greater than what I am leaving behind. Please visit sheabundantly.com, where I have truth. I have music and fashion. Facebook She Abundantly, Instagram She Abundantly, and Twitter She Abundantly. As I stay encouraged, you stay encouraged. See you later. Bye-bye.